I just disembarked on Norwegian's most controversial cruise ship in the world. On boarding day, you're normally filled with a bunch of excitement, right? You see a bunch of happy families, everyone's relaxed, getting ready for an awesome vacation. You see the huge ship in port and you're super pumped to do this. Yeah, that's not what happened on my last cruise on Norwegian. Not at all. When we showed up, people were yelling, cars were honking, it was complete chaos. People were blocking entry points to park your vehicle. It was nuts. Now, we had just driven 5.5 hours, and I knew for our particular case that we had a few things that may prohibit us from getting on the ship as early as we wanted. So I knew at least one thing would go poorly. However, I'm a pretty optimistic dude, so I remained positive. Let me explain. We haven't taken a cruise vacation together, me and my wife, since baby Noah was born. She's 14 weeks old at this point of making this video. She's a bundle of joy, but as you can imagine, being new parents, we're incredibly tired. We definitely wanted vacation, and we were just looking for a little bit of rest and relaxation before getting back to which is called parenthood. So we thought a cruise might be fun, but a 7-day cruise was too long. They were also way too expensive right now, and we also didn't want to leave Noah alone with her grandparents for 7 days. However, our travel agent Rose found a weekend getaway on Norwegian that we thought this could work. Now, she said this cruise in particular was a little bit controversial. When she checked on Cruise Critic, it had a ranking of 3.3 out of 5. She also mentioned outside of Cruise Critic that even her peers in the industry were saying a lot of similar notes and feedback about the ship as well. And even though it was last minute and kind of pricey for a 4-day cruise, we decided to risk it and do it anyway. The ship we were sailing on was the Norwegian Joy. It was built in 2017 and then refurbished in 2019. So naturally, I was a little bit excited to see all the new stuff they would add to the ship. But when I went to go check those reviews on Cruise Critic, man, I saw some crazy stuff on this website. I'm telling you, don't shoot the messenger, but this is what they said. Check this. One person said it's the Spirit Airlines of the seas, and they treat people like cargo. Another said horrible lines and tons of crowds. And one user straight up got to the point and said, no joy on the Norwegian Joy. I mean, that's pretty bad. But listen, I wanted to see the updates. I wanted to see the updates for myself. Sometimes YouTubers, they embellish things, they over-exaggerate. Sometimes they're not entirely truthful with their reviews. And on Cruise Critic, they tend to exaggerate, everything's bad. We're also not big cruise influencers that's getting all our trips paid for, so this came out of our own pockets. So this is what happened to us. I hope this information serves you well, and let's begin with the review. We were sailing out of Miami at max capacity. This ship can hold 3,800 plus guests on the cruise ship, and it was packed. So I was already getting a little bit apprehensive of how we'd be treated on board. Would there be enough staff to accommodate all the guests that they sold out the ship on? And I'll be honest, the check-in process was rough. When we got to this cruise terminal with Norwegian Cruise Line, it was packed. The terminal was severely backed up. It was hot and stuffy. People were just standing around super confused because they had no idea what to do. With nearly 4,000 people sailing on this ship being stuffed inside of a terminal, it was very abundantly clear that there was not enough seating for everyone. Elderly needed places to sit, babies were crying. While some mothers are comfortable with breastfeeding in public, some aren't. And the fact of the matter is, because there are so many people, mothers were forced to different corners of the terminal to breastfeed in a little privacy that they had because of the lack of accessibility to restrooms, because once again, there was a lot of people inside of the terminal. Just an information, relaying it to you guys. Now, what I thought was really interesting and very weird, there was zero communication from Norwegian Cruise Line to why we were unable to board the cruise. They weren't letting anyone on, everybody. Not Haven guests, not your priority boarding, no one. Just 4,000 people standing in a terminal, hot, sweaty, crammed up. It was bad. Let me know in the comment section below, did you receive the same kind of treatment, or is this just a weird anomaly to which is Norwegian Cruise Line embarkation day process? Now, for all the reasons I mentioned earlier in this video, I'm gonna rank the embarkation day process for Norwegian a 1 out of 5 stars. They weren't lying on Cruise Critic, but things do get better. I promise. But before we move forward, many of you guys in the cruise industry may be aware that you're able to bring a complimentary bottle of wine or two per stateroom cabin to your cruise. They typically do not charge you this unless you're trying to get it uncorked in the main dining room, to which they charge you a corkage fee of $15. However, that rule has changed. I need you guys to know that if you do bring your own bottles of wine on the ship, they will charge you $15 per bottle if you do not have the beverage package.
What's up, Mama Liz?
Hi.
What's up?
Because we don't have the drink package, they're going to charge us money to bring our wine on board. I've never heard of this.
I thought it was complimentary. It is no longer complimentary.
I've never heard of this.
Uh-oh.
40 cruises, and now I have to pay $15
Wow.
to bring on my own wine. Just buy it on the ship.
Mama Liz is back.
That is a new rule. I was introduced to that rule on the day of the cruise. Honestly, I do think this is weird and odd because Norwegian often brags about this being like a luxury cruise ship, a hotel experience. But honestly, if I went to Sandals or the Four Seasons, they wouldn't charge me for my own bottle of wine if I brought it. Look, if you found anything helpful in this video so far, please consider clicking the like button and the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. And if for some reason you hate the content in the future, you can always unsubscribe. Let's continue. Boarding the ship. We didn't board the ship until 3 p.m. That's right, we got there around 12, like we were supposed to. We didn't board until 3 p.m. Now, some people did get there earlier and they had been waiting for 4 hours. Brutal. We did have a sail away time of 4 o'clock, keep that in mind, and I didn't think we were going to make it. However, once we boarded the ship, we were very excited. People were clapping. Once we boarded the ship, we decided it was best to get some lunch, or in this case, a very late lunch, an early dinner. I don't know, it's 4 o'clock. Now, because we were group 41, that means 40 other groups were able to board the ship prior to us. So trying to find any sit-down dining wasn't possible, any other free dining impossible. The buffet was completely packed. I mean, at one point I waited 30, 45 minutes for a burger and some fries. I decided to give up and I got in the line with salads. Because the line, honestly, it was pretty short. I guess people that have been sitting in a hot terminal for 4 hours, the last thing they really want is a salad for lunch, early dinner. Now I'm just being petty. But my point is, the lines were stupid long. So Cruise Critic, that reviewer was also correct. The lines are long. More on that later. At this point, we were really tired and wanted to go to the room, but obviously our luggage wasn't ready because we had just boarded the ship, so we decided to go watch the sail away party. Now, after getting a bite to eat, the ship finally started to set sail away. I did meet Ship Life, which is super cool. Go check out his channel if you haven't already. But my point is, we started to sail away. If I'm ranking the sail away, it was nothing compared to Carnival, if you need a point of reference. But it was fun. I do recall hearing like Latin music, a lot of reggaeton, and a lot of music by this guy named Bad Bunny. Everyone was pretty excited to hear him. So I say 4 out of 5 stars. It's hard not to have fun. Once you're listening to music, you have some drinks and you're sailing away because your vacation has officially started. 4 out of 5 stars. Good job, Norwegian. Now, at this point, our room was ready, but our luggage still wasn't there just yet. More on that later. All right, welcome to our humble abode. This is our room. Let's do a quick little tour. I'll show you guys around. Let's jump into it. This is where we spent the next 4 days on our cruise. The room cost $187 per person, or just over $1,500 for 4 days. Definitely one of the least spacious interior cabins I've ever had. Very tiny. If you want a comparison of my last interior cabin on a luxury cruise ship, watch this video right here. It's on a Celebrity Beyond. Incredible interior cabin. It actually costs less to cruise on the Celebrity Beyond than it actually costs to sail on the Norwegian. Our room was deck 12631. There was very limited space to store any clothing, no dressers or anything, just a few open shelves and spots in the closet. If you're familiar with rocking cruise ships that go back and forth, things were sliding all over the place. I think that was a poor decision. So room design, I'm gonna say 3 out of 5. Now here's what boggled my mind. There was also a giant pole in front of our door, which made it incredibly challenging to get in and out of our cabin. Look at this.
trapped because our luggage is on the other side of this door.
Stop it.
I think the crazy part about all of this is that this room was an upgrade from what we had originally. So I can only imagine what our original room was.
This pole.
However, this room is very controversial. More on that later. If you want to see, click like and subscribe. I'll put a video up, okay? Now, this is some information that Alyssa asked me to relay to you guys. If you're a mother and you're breastfeeding, she did call customer service ahead and said that they would have medical grade fridges on the cruise ship. If you're familiar with cruises, typically they have a bit of a chiller for you, a small mini fridge. It's a chill, it's kind of like a cooler. Okay, so she called ahead for a medical one, and they said they would be there. Once we got to the room, it was not there, so she decided to go into customer service. She waited 45 minutes in line, only for them to tell her that there's no medical grade fridges on the cruise. For that reason, I'm going with communication, just overall in general, 1 out of 5. So, no fridge. However, she was able to get a bunch of ice, but this is where it stings. She had to toss about 80 ounces of breast milk. For my guys out there who are like, why is this a big deal? Ladies, let them know in the comment section below why that's a big deal. So that's some information for mothers that are still pumping. There are no medical grade fridges on the Norwegian Joy at all. Let's talk about ship life. The ship life it's good. It's beautiful. The ship decor is absolutely amazing. There's something called the observation lounge, which is super gorgeous to just take in all the views around the ship. It was great eating snacks, relaxing on sea days here. I enjoyed the pastries and the cakes they had for people to eat. So good. I think a majority of our time was spent in the observation lounge, considering how packed the ship was by the pool deck, by the games. It was just so many people. This was the only area that people would sit if you wanted some peace and quiet. I do love the amount of bars on board. There's mixed bar, sugarcane bar, and plenty more. You have tons of bar options. I say ship decor, 4 out of 5. Bars, 4 out of 5. They did great on that. Norwegian has a really cool go-kart track on the top deck. This does cost $15 per person. I do wonder why they charge for it though. Anytime we passed it, we didn't see a lot of people actually using it. Maybe 6 or 7 people were in line for the go-kart track. I think I maybe saw it running maybe once, maybe twice, if I recall. But yeah, for the most part, pretty freaking empty. But we've tried it before. It is fun. Norwegian also has something called the Galaxy Pavilion. I'm sure many of you experienced Norwegian cruises are familiar with it, and it's super fun. It is also about $8 per person per session for the digital rides and the virtual reality experience and stuff like that. It did look super cool. I'm not gonna lie, we didn't try it. You can also buy the unlimited pass for like $399 per person for all the games, arcades, and go-karts. So that is an option if you decide to pay extra. You know, now that I think about it, like Norwegian charges a lot for stuff. You know, maybe that, I think if they charge a little bit less for things or just not at all, actually made it an all-inclusive experience, some of the lines and stuff would start to dissipate a little bit, because the Galaxy Pavilion, I feel like all the staff was in there just taking care of the kids playing video games and just kind of watching people to do this go-kart experience that not many people were even at, but just making an observation. Yeah, when I think about it, considering you booked their ship, there isn't a whole lot to do for free at all. Definitely starting to feel like it's like a nickel and diming experience, just the vibe it's given me on a Norwegian Joy. Maybe even cutting corners to make a profit. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Something that I thought was very interesting was the water slide experience. The tube slide, the line was so long. There were 6 people ahead of us in line, and it took 45 minutes for us to do 6 people to go down a slide. I don't know why it took that long, but it did. Anything longer than that, you're looking at an hour plus just to go down the tube slide. And when I look at the drop slide, anytime they would watch that experience, they would say, man, I don't want to get stuck. They were apprehensive, a little bit filled with anxiety, if you will, of not going. Alyssa felt a little bit scared, but I get it. You drop down one way, and then if you don't make it, you're going back head first the opposite way. It doesn't really sound like an ideal experience. I don't know why they keep building it if people keep getting stuck. You have to build like 4 trap doors to get people out. Then maybe don't build it. I'm not an architect, but I don't know. Honestly, the whole Norwegian experience just takes a while. It shouldn't be break free. Well, no, maybe it is break free from the lines. But honestly, even at one of their more popular shows, Love and Marriage Show, they brought out the good furniture. And when I mean good furniture, they brought out lawn chairs, the folding lawn ones that you bring at like little birthday parties and set them out for people to watch the show. Just my opinion, Norwegian, either bring out better seating for this luxury cruise experience that, again, you're charging people top dollar for, and get some better quality seating, or I don't know, maybe perhaps move it to another venue to accommodate all of your guests. But you know what? Maybe it's genius. It's genius. Charging someone $1,500, $3,000 for a 4-day cruise experience, and then giving them like the low quality seating really allows you to maximize that profit. That's a big brain move. Big brain move. So I'd say activities, free things to do on this cruise ship, 2 out of 5. That's just my opinion. Let me know how you feel. But at this point, it was time for dinner. So let's go eat dinner. Since Norwegian has anytime dining, it was refreshing to show up at the time we really wanted to. And since you're waiting in lines all throughout the ship, it was nice to know that at least you'd be able to eat at some point of time of the day. The restaurant was nice. It reminded me of a lot of a traditional dining with separate restaurants, so it wasn't too stuffy inside at all. The service was incredibly great. Dessert, great. 4 out of 5 on dining on a Norwegian Joy. 4 out of 5. They were right on that cruise critic review. They said the food was good. They're correct. That's actually the saving grace of this cruise. After dinner, we were really excited to get to bed because the next day we were visiting Great Stirrup Cay, which is Norwegian's private island in the Bahamas. Very excited to go here because I've never been. So I had high expectations. Listen, the island is gorgeous. They don't have a dock at Great Stirrup Cay, so you do have to tender over. For those that don't know what a tender is, it's a small, tiny boat taxi that takes you to and from the ship. But, of course, in order to get to the island, you do have to wait in line. And so by the time we were done waiting in line, we were in group 10 to get our tender. So you wait about an hour or two to get your tender. Once you get on the boat, you tender on over to the private island, to which is Great Stirrup Cay. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like the scenery, the beaches, the colors of the water, beautiful. They had tons of chairs. I saw some sand volleyball courts. I'm unsure if you had to pay for the volleyball, but they do have zip lining. They did have villas, stand-up paddleboarding and stuff like that. So essentially a bunch of more stuff you have to pay for. But I mean, at least they have things for you to do, right? It's there. It's there. For activities on Great Stirrup Cay, I'd say 3 out of 5. It's a very pretty, pristine, private island. It's clean. I did enjoy it.
But seriously, at one point we decided to get drinks, and of course we had to wait in line about 30 to 45 minutes at the Bacardi bar. Now it was worth it, but it just took so long to get one drink. But again, it's the Bacardi bar. It is good. You could take in some views. They were playing games, but look at this line.
So if you think you're gonna get a beach chair, sit on, and someone's gonna come get your drinks, that's not a thing unless you have a cabana, okay? So just be prepared for that. We made a statement that if we were at Coco Cay, we would probably have 3-4 drinks by now because people walk by at least every 10 to 15 minutes to offer you a drink when they see that drink's low. And speaking of Perfect Day at Coco Cay, you can literally see Perfect Day from Great Stirrup Cay. Like, no, for real, like you can hear and see how much more fun they are having over there. It's unreal. That's a big boss move. Anyways, we decided to grab some lunch, and the lunch is good. They have burgers, they have hot dogs, pizza, fruits, veggies. It's good, but man, let me tell you the desserts. The rum cake, absolutely delicious, guys. The banana bread, fantastic. There's like a pistachio cake too, super good. However, my complaint is these tiny little cups they give us. Look at these cups. Like, here's the size of my iPhone, and here is the cup. It's like half the size of the iPhone. I don't understand it. Like, why would you give me this tiny cup? What am I, 8 years old? I just wanted a normal, adult-sized human cup. And now I'm complaining like a baby because they're giving me baby cups, and now it feels ridiculous holding these tiny little cups because I got like 6 tiny little cups to have a brick. I'm done. I'm getting too frustrated. Now, once we were done with lunch, which again, fantastic, I would give that 4 out of 5 stars. We took the tender back, but apparently everyone had the same idea. It was around 1 o'clock. Now, we were asked to board the ship no later than 5, and so the tender situation's bad, everybody. It's a 1 out of 5 experience. You wait like 45 minutes to an hour to wait for everyone to board the ship back on because they really want to maximize capacity of the tender. I get that, that's fair. And then once you get to the actual Norwegian Joy, they have to lock on and then everyone has to get off. They have to scan every single like little card. That took 45 minutes and the ship's just kind of like rocking. The tender boat is just rocking at that point. And so people get a little nauseous, they get bored, they get hot. It's not a good experience. That sucks. 1 out of 5. These cruise critic reviews, particularly the Norwegian Joy, incredibly accurate. Go check out some of the poor or average reviews. It's alarming. My travel agent was not wrong, but I'm very thankful that we were able to get a break.
If you ever need help booking your cruise with true, authentic reviews, reach out to Rose at WildTravelGroup.com. She is the best.
The Great Stirrup Cay whole thing, in general, 3 out of 5 stars. But I was very excited for dinner that night because we were going to Le Bistro, which is their French restaurant. Alyssa and I were just going to celebrate a little romantic dinner date, and it was absolutely incredible. You get complimentary champagne, and we had the specialty dining package, so it was going to be on the house, on Norwegian. I ordered this super delicious steak tartare as an appetizer. Fantastic. Then I went on and moved forward to the entree, which was the duck. Some of the best duck I've had. It was nicely pan-seared. It came with like a parsnip, maple glazed duck with a pea like reduction. Fantastic, like magnificent. Thank you guys for that incredible meal and that romantic date, looking at the sunset over the ocean on the side of the ship at Le Bistro. We did the outdoor seating. Now I have some bad news. After dinner, we wanted to go check out a show. So we went to go see Elements, which was like this highlight of the cruise. They weren't doing their like marquee show, which was, I believe, Footloose. Maybe because it was a 4-day sailing, but my point is, it wasn't showing. So very excited for Elements. We went to go check out Elements, but with the last 15 to 20 minutes of the show, there was some sort of malfunction. The lights came on and they said, hey, listen, sorry for the inconvenience, but the show has been canceled due to the malfunction and due to the safety of our talent and guests around us. The show would be canceled. However, you'd get a new ticket, a new scheduled ticket on the next day. And so we were excited for that. So fast forward to the next day, we're having dinner prepping for the next show, and the announcement came on and said due to injury to one of our talent at one of the shows earlier that day, the show can no longer continue and it has been indefinitely canceled. That's all the information I got. I don't know if they're okay. I don't know if they consider doing understudies or if they have any understudies. We just know that someone got hurt. I can't really rank the show fully, but I will say it was like a Cirque du Soleil magic show experience. I was enjoying it. Alyssa, not so much, but I'd say they averaged out 3.5 out of 5, if that sounds fair. Would love to see the finishing show. Would have loved to see Footloose, but again, it was just kind of like the highlight of the entire cruise experience on Norwegian Joy. It was just them over-promising on this super luxurious, amazing experience, and of course, under-delivering on pretty much all of it. If you want to see the most controversial cabin I've ever booked, ever sailed in, watch this video right here. Or if you want to see one of the craziest cruises that caught me off guard, watch this one right here. Okay, you won't